Remember, everything you have is God's anyways. So the life force flowing through you is now being directed into love. And more portals are opening within yourself so you fill up more. When you are very self-absorbed, thinking too much about one thing or another, you are not in the moment, and so you are not in love. You are in worry and concern mode. I knew how to perform the role of a good student for the approval of my teachers. I knew how to appease my parents as a way to minimize judgment and avoid rejection. I was adept at making friends and constantly aimed to climb the unstable totem pole of popularity. And we know that many of you are joining us in tuning in to the collective consciousness of humanity. We know that so many of you are helpers. You have identified yourselves as light workers, change makers, way showers, and so on, and you want to be a part of the solution. Consistently, we speak of matters that will affect the whole. Yes, indeed, in your terms, it seems a long while since we originally spoke of Phase 2. Yet, in our terms, not. It is coming. It is on the cards, so to speak. Yet, you cannot give us a time, obviously. We cannot, for the exact timing is not up to us. In fact, none of which is to take place on your planet is up to us. Let us make that quite clear. You are in control mode, so you let go and you turn the other cheek and begin to send love instead. Now you begin to expand out and to expand your field, allowing the life force to flow through you. You cannot control the life force to flow more rapidly, and you cannot fool the universe with a few statements. Your focus doesn't lie, and your focus is either directed out with love or directed out with judgment. Or it is directed inward with peace or directed inward in absorption of some issue, problem, situation. Throughout my childhood and teenage years, I devoted myself to earning others' approval, yet, in the secrecy of my inner experience, I could never escape the feelings of profound loneliness, a deep sense of unworthiness, and a constant uncertainty about my decisions, intuition, and personal power. As I evolved, some of these patterns began to unravel, but a part of this performance carried over into my early spiritual journey. Where once I feared failing school teachers, I now worried about upsetting spirit guides. Instead of triggering parents, I feared disappointing the universe, a source I struggled to fully embrace. I treated my divine connection like a fragile gift, always trying to prove my worthiness, afraid it might be withdrawn. You want to be one who contributes mightily to the evolution of consciousness there on Earth amongst your fellow humans. And if you can step back from the drama that is the divisiveness of much of what is going on in the world today, and you can observe from that higher plateau where you can see what is going on, then you can be of greater service to your fellow humans. You cannot get caught up in it and be a part of the solution to it. If you want to unite humanity and show that you are all ready for contact, then you must be willing to let go of the side that you usually take. You must be able to rise above it all and recognize that everyone out there is reflecting back to you something that you need to love, heal, forgive, or perhaps appreciate. Because it is. Yet, from what you have said, there is much more to come. Indeed. That which took place in the last few years upon your Earth was a testing of the water. The experiment did not quite work out as planned, and yet, at the same time, did the trick. Do you mean in scaring the bejeebers out of most of the population? That along with many experimental issues regarding the workings of fear-mongering through control, there is more to come. When you expand your focus and send love to all, you are included in the all. When you send healing to all, you are included in the all. That is the lesson sometimes, compassion for all, rather than the narrow concern for self. Perhaps that is a good start. You cannot take from creation, for it is freely given. When you demand, things don't work as smoothly, because your vibration isn't pure. It may take more time as well, because you have expectations, you are in a rush. When you let go and turn your attention away from taking and begin to give, that is when the universe begins to give back. See, the universe gives you more of the same. The takers always end up taken away. The giver always ends up receiving more. This is the metaphor of, to those who have more is given, and to those who have not, it will be taken from them. It is love that is being given or taken away, depleted more like it. And with love, all things are added. Love is the law of the universe. In the early days of my spiritual journey, instead of earnestly exploring manifestation, I performed a groveling at the feet of some celestial being in the clouds, attempting to be so impressive in my behavior that I'd attract my desires in a shorter span of time. Even my initial stages of emotional healing were subtly performative, as I faced the wounds of my past in an attempt to earn the arrival of my beloved. Interestingly, this divine partner only entered my life years later, long after these cycles had faded, ensuring I didn't misconstrue her arrival as a result of these spiritual reward and punishment games I had been playing out. Of the many milestones my awakening journey has offered me, perhaps the most humbling and fulfilling gift of all was a spontaneous dissolving of the sense of inner performance that I had carried for decades. I was finally given the chance to know what it means to be myself, to trust in the instincts and wisdom within myself, and to know what it feels like to accept and love myself from a space of freedom, relief, and authenticity. When you can accept everyone and everything as they are and as it is, then you can start to see the types of changes that you want to see in the human collective consciousness. Now, we hold space for all of you all the time, and we see the improvements. We feel them, and we know that they are coming in the physical realm in every reality and on every timeline. Everything that you do and think and say not only affects your reality and the timeline you are currently on. You are affecting the multiverse with everything that you are offering vibrationally, energetically, and with your actions. That is how powerful you are. And when you tap in and you see what is needed, what is being reflected back to you, then you know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly where the love is most needed. You know exactly where to send the healing. And that is how being tuned in helps. Whichever pull the universe is steered towards will be the highest decision for the betterment of mankind at this time. It is not that one is of a pleasanter ride than the other. For in order for clearance of all that must cease to be, there has to be the surmountable turmoil that we have spoken of. Why can't we just watch the downfall of those of lesser light on our TVs, eating popcorn and flying flags? Why must we go through such a massive disturbance? As it seems, that which you have prepared us for will be massive. Blossom. In order for one to come out the other side, one first has to go through it. There is so much to be gained from the upheaval that is to be presented. Keep that at the forefront of your mind. When it is least looking like it is all going well, it is the time when it actually is. While there are dazzling experiences and insights that can connect you to the infinite wisdom of the cosmos, I assure you, one of the greatest gifts life continually moves into your awareness is the simple permission to be the fully inspired, naturally empowered, and truly liberated version of yourself. Here in this moment, you are offered the chance to feel safe in reality, comfortable in your own skin, and worthy of all the fulfillment and goodness that life is longing for you to receive. With no other requirements, you are allowed to simply move through each moment in time, sensing how connected you are to life's highest truth, and without a plan to negotiate, a mission to complete, or an inner performer to sustain. You are the perfection of the universe, manifest in human form, and this sentence is a divine mirror reflecting that truth back at you. Release, relax, and rest knowing you are loved in all that you are, always. You don't need to know what to fight against, who the bad ones are, and who needs to be locked up. You don't need to know any of that to do the good that you are there to do. You don't need to know what secret wars are happening in outer space or there on Earth. You don't need to be a part of that divisiveness, but if you are made aware of a reality where something is going on, some sort of conflict, some war between various factions, then you send love to everyone involved instead of picking up your sword and joining the fight. This is how you raise the level of consciousness there on Earth, and this is how you ascend. And we know that you want to be a part of the solution, and for so many of you who are awake, we know that you already are. Some of you are lagging behind a bit and still are caught up in the idea of darkness versus light, but you are getting there. You are getting there, and we can feel that when we tap into the human collective consciousness. And that is why we are always so optimistic when we come to you and speak to you in this way. The situation that occurred at the beginning of your 2022 was planned by those who have the desire to depopulate. It had to be played out in order for it to do all that it did. The consequences were dire from many perspectives. However, and we do not say this insensitively, if this had not played out, it would not be possible for Phase 2 and the next incarceration to take place. And it needs to take place. It may seem that it has been organized, once again, by those who do not have your best interest at heart. Yet, perhaps this is not the case, or maybe it is. Yet, behind the scenes there is a much more sinister undertaking that those who think they are in control have masterminded. We must be careful with our words here from a safety point of view. Yet, behind the scenes of behind the scenes there is the divine plan. Oh phew, I'm glad you clarified that, as when the word sinister came through I had to question where the rest of the sentence was heading. So, perhaps the story continues in the flow of knowing that although Phase the 2nd of May look like it is under control by those who seek the demise of the human race, it is serving a much higher purpose that will become apparent once the plan is underway. The dark thread has weaved its way into a great many more hearts. Many have been sucked into the web of evil. Many who had no desire to do so, yet found their way into fame and fortune this way, and then it became too late for escape. Temptations of luxurious lifestyles lured many into the web, and once trapped, they had no escape. This cleansing that is to come will change everything. It is the first time ever that your planet has the opportunity to be lifted into glory once again. This can only happen because of each one of you coming here to do just that. Change the entire vibration of the population. Not everyone is ready for that. They will have no choice. For that which is to unfold will be such a shake-up Such a wake-up call that the aftermath, the overall outcome will be for each one to walk into the light, and the light to follow will be so bright that even those who have been lazy until this time will change their attitude entirely.